The quantum sky, a 2-hour journey through the oldest science and the newest mystery. 4 voices, 1 conversation. From the clay tablets of Babylon to the edge of quantum physics, this is the conversation astrology was always waiting to have. Tonight we will not tell you what to believe. We will take you into the workshop, the techniques, the traditions, the mathematics, and the mysteries, and we will let you decide.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Zara, and tonight we are doing something we have never done before, a full deep dive, 2 hours long, from the very first star charts humans ever carved into stone, all the way to a frontier that most astrologers have not even mapped yet. We're calling this episode the Quantum Sky, and I promise you, by the end, you will never look at a birth chart the same way again.
I'm Valentina, and if you have been with us for a while, you know we like to push past the horoscope columns, past the "you will meet someone interesting this week" energy. Tonight we are going deep into technique and tradition. We are going to learn what the Babylonians actually believed, how the Greeks turned omens into philosophy, how India kept the oldest continuous astrological lineage alive, and how Egypt measured the sky with 36 star clocks.
I'm Hannah, and I will be honest with you. When Zara first pitched the quantum segment to me, I laughed out loud. I studied physics before I found astrology, and those two worlds do not usually talk to each other. The physicist in me was screaming. But the more we explored the parallels, superposition, entanglement, the observer effect, the more the resonance got strange. Beautiful, but strange, and that is exactly what we are going to unpack tonight.
I'm Nora, and my grandmother read charts in Aleppo with nothing but a piece of string, a worn brass astrolabe, and the night sky over her courtyard. She never wrote a single chart down, it was all in her head, all in the stars. She would have adored this episode. Tonight we honor her tradition, and every tradition, by taking it seriously, by doing the work, and by daring to imagine where this ancient art goes next.
So here is the arc of tonight. Part 1, we go ancient, Babylon, Egypt, the Hellenistic world, India, the Maya. We learn what the ancestors actually did with the sky, and trust me, some of it will genuinely surprise you. Part 2, we leap forward into the modern era, psychology, evolutionary astrology, Hari, electional, mundane. Part 3, the frontier, quantum mechanics meets the birth chart. And Part 4, we pull every thread together with the deep techniques, fixed stars, harmonics, midpoints, astrocartography, the Arabic parts.
Part 1, the ancient foundations. Before the zodiac was a symbol, it was a technology. And before it was a technology, it was a survival instinct. A way of reading the sky the way we read a weather report, or a newsfeed, or a stock ticker. The first astrologers were not mystics. They were data analysts. Their data just happened to be written in light.
Let's start in Babylon, around 700 years before the Common Era. The Babylonians did not invent astrology to tell people about their love lives. They built the first systematic sky-keeping project in human history because their entire civilization depended on the rivers flooding at the right time and the barley growing in the right month. The sky was their calendar, their clock, and their early warning system. If Venus did something strange in the sky, they wanted to know, because they believed the heavens were the writing of the gods, and it was their job to learn to read it. And they were meticulous. They kept clay tablets recording every observable celestial event for centuries, thousands of years of data, actually. Modern historians have found tablet after tablet of Venus observations, eclipse records, planetary risings and settings, all logged with the patience of a laboratory notebook. The Babylonians built the first ephemeris. They discovered the Saros cycle, the 18-year eclipse cycle, and they used it to predict eclipses with astonishing accuracy.
And here is the part people forget. The Babylonians gave us the planetary week. 7 days, 7 wandering stars, Saturn day, Sun day, Moon day. Every single time you check your calendar, you are reading a 4,000-year-old astrological code. When the Greeks encountered this inheritance, they did something revolutionary. They turned observation into philosophy. Plato imagined the cosmos as a living being with a soul. Pythagoras heard the music of the spheres, the idea that the planets move in mathematical harmony, like notes in a cosmic symphony. The Hellenistic astrologers, Figures like Dorotheus of Sidon, Claudius Ptolemy, Vettius Valens systematize everything. They created the 12 houses, the aspects, the planetary rulerships, the timing techniques. Valens wrote a massive textbook called the Anthology, which survives to this day, and it reads like a training manual for professional astrologers. These were working practitioners. They cast charts for emperors and merchants, for weddings and voyages, for the founding of cities.
Meanwhile, in India, a parallel universe of astrology was flowering, and it never stopped. Jyotish, the science of light. The Vedic sages tracked the moon against 27 nakshatras, the lunar mansions, and built a system that is not only still alive, it is arguably more practiced today than it was 1,000 years ago. The nakshatras are something the West is only beginning to rediscover, each one a distinct flavor of the moon's journey, from the creative spark of Ashwini to the oceanic depth of Revati. Think about that for a second. The Vimshathari Dasha system assigns each planet a number of years. The Sun gets 6, the Moon 10, Mars 7, Rahu 18, and so on, and your life is divided into these planetary periods, in a fixed sequence based on your Moon's nakshatra at birth. When your Jupiter Dasha begins, Jupiter's themes become the soundtrack of your life. When Saturn's Dasha arrives, you feel the weight of the ringed planet.
And in Egypt, the priests were watching something even more precise: the decans. 36 star groups that rose heliacally, one every 10 days, through the night, like the hands of a cosmic clock. The decans were the original clock of the sky, and they became the foundation of Hellenistic astrology's chapters of life. The technique of dividing the lifespan into periods ruled by different places of the chart. Egypt gave astrology its precision. Babylon gave it its structure. India gave it its soul. And we should not forget the Egyptian contribution to the zodiac itself. The Dendera zodiac, carved on the ceiling of a temple, shows the 12 signs in a form that would be recognizable to any modern astrologer. Evidence that the zodiac we use today was already fully formed in the ancient world. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, is the one-line summary of the entire astrological worldview. The Egyptians believed the sky and the earth were mirrors of each other.
And across the ocean, the Maya built a calendar system so intricate that modern mathematicians still study it with respect. The Solkine, 260 days, 13 numbers, 20-day signs, interlocking gears of time, like a cosmic clockwork. And the long count, which tracks cycles of thousands of years. The Maya understood something the Babylonians also understood: time is not a straight line. It is a wheel, and it returns.
And by the Islamic Golden Age, all of this knowledge converged in a single beautiful instrument, the astrolabe. A brass computer. With a few turns of its rings, you could find the time, locate a star, cast a chart, even solve a geometry problem. The astrolabe is the ancestor of the smartphone in your pocket, and astrology, not astronomy, astrology, was the engine that drove its invention and refinement. The great observatories of Baghdad and Maragay were built to refine planetary tables for astrological purposes. When we tell the history of science honestly, astrology is not a footnote. It is the opening chapter.
So when people say astrology is unscientific, the historical answer is more interesting than a simple yes or no. Astrology is not a science anymore, but it is the ancestor of science. Astronomy, mathematics, timekeeping, and even the scientific method itself grew up inside the astrological worldview. The Babylonians, the Greeks, the Indians, the Egyptians, the Maya, they were the original data scientists. They observed, recorded, cross-referenced, and built predictive models. Their data was just written in the stars.
One more thing about the ancients before we move on: their humility. They knew the sky was vast and their knowledge was small. They built systems, yes, but they also left room for mystery. The Babylonian priests would say, "The gods speak in the stars, but no one hears the whole sentence." The Indian astrologers would say, "The chart shows the seed, but the soil is yours." That humility is something we carry into the rest of this episode. Techniques are tools, not cages. The sky is not a vending machine. It is a conversation.
And with that, we close the ancient chapter and step into the modern era, where astrology turned inward, and the sky became a mirror of the mind. Part 2. The modern evolution. When the telescope moved the Earth out of the center of the universe, astrology did not die. It did something far stranger. It turned inward, If the cosmos was no longer the literal stage of divine drama, then perhaps it was something even more intimate, a mirror of the human psyche.
The 20th century gave astrology its greatest transformation since Babylon. Psychology. Carl Jung, who studied astrology seriously, by the way, and used it in his own clinical work, saw the chart as a map of the psyche, a symbolic language for the structures of the unconscious. He called astrology the sum of all the psychological knowledge of antiquity. Suddenly the planets were not just omens or arbiters of fate. They were archetypes, living patterns in the collective unconscious. The sun became the ego's center of gravity. The moon became the emotional body. Saturn became the inner critic, the boundary maker, the teacher of limits. And this was liberating. It meant the chart was not a verdict, it was a vocabulary. If you have Saturn square your moon, you are not cursed. You are given a specific set of emotional lessons to master. Boundaries, discipline, maturity, the courage to feel without drowning. If you have Mars in the 12th house, your anger does not make you a bad person. It is an underground river that needs conscious channels. The psychological turn gave astrology a way to speak about growth, healing, and self-knowledge.
And from that seed grew evolutionary astrology, the school that says the chart is not a snapshot of fate, but a trajectory of the soul. The south node is where you have been, the karma you carry like a suitcase, the comfort zone that is also a trap. The north node is where the soul is trying to grow, the direction that feels unfamiliar, even scary, but that ultimately brings fulfillment. The moon's nodes become the spine of the life story. The question is never, what will happen to me? It is, what am I here to become? Let me give you an example of how this changes a reading. Take someone with the North Node in Capricorn in the 10th house, and the South Node in Cancer in the 4th. The evolutionary reading goes deep. The South Node suggests past life patterns of caretaking, emotional dependency, retreat into the safety of home. The North Node in Capricorn in the 10th asks the soul to build structure, take public responsibility, become the authority figure rather than the one who hides. Every chart, read this way, becomes a coherent spiritual curriculum.
But the modern toolkit is not only psychological. Hari astrology, casting a chart for the exact moment a question is asked, is astrology's original search engine. You ask, will I get the job? The sky snaps a photograph of the question itself, and the chart answers. The Hari astrologer looks at the planetary ruler of the question, the ruler of the thing asked about, and the aspects between them. If the rulers are separating, the answer is no. If they are applying, the answer is yes, unless a malefic interferes. It is the branch of astrology that feels most like a science. And Hari has a fascinating philosophical implication. The Hari chart is cast for the moment the question is asked, which means the sky responds to the act of asking. It is as if the question collapses the wave function of the heavens into a specific answer. The Babylonians would have said the gods answer sincere questions. The quantum-minded astrologer would say the question itself is an act of observation, and observation changes what is observed. Hari is the purest demonstration that in astrology, the observer and the observed are one system.
And electional astrology is the creative side, choosing the right moment. Weddings, launches, surgeries, even the founding of countries have been timed by electional charts. The idea is simple and profound. If the sky at your birth sets a tone for your life, then the sky at an event's beginning sets a tone for that event. The classic story. The Declaration of Independence was famously signed near a benefic Jupiter transit, deliberately selected for the new nation's prosperity. Whether or not you believe it works, the founders believed it. Electional astrology is also where astrology becomes practical craft. You want to start a business? Avoid of course moon. That window when the moon has made its last aspect before changing signs, traditionally considered a time when things fizzle. You want to get married? Many electional astrologers avoid Mercury retrograde. You want surgery? Traditionally you avoid operating when the moon is in the sign ruling the body part. This is the astrology of timing, the ancient art of asking not just what will happen, but when should I act?
And then there is mundane astrology, the astrology of nations, eras, and the whole human story. Mundane astrologers track the ingress charts of the equinoxes and solstices, the great conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn, the transits of the slow-moving outer planets across the signs. This is the astrology of generations and civilizations. The 20th century is a perfect case study. Pluto's transits track the rise of the welfare state, the world wars, the post-war order, the social revolutions, the Cold War, and the information age, themes that echo with eerie consistency. Mundane astrology also has its own technical toolkit. The ingress chart of Aries, cast for the moment the sun enters Aries each year, is read as a forecast for the year ahead. The lunation cycles, new and full moons, are read as monthly weather systems. The great conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn, which occur every 20 years, are read as era-shifting events. The Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, rarer and heavier, mark the generational reckonings. When astrologers talk about the times we live in, they are usually reading mundane charts.
And the modern toolkit got sharper. Declination, how far north or south a planet travels from the celestial equator, reveals out-of-bounds planets, planets that wander beyond the sun's maximum declination. These are the rebels, the outliers, the energies that refuse the normal rules of the chart. And declination also gives us the parallels. Two planets at the same declination act like a conjunction, even if they are nowhere near each other in zodiacal longitude. The parallel is one of the oldest and most overlooked powerful aspects in the toolbox. Midpoints, the exact halfway point between two planets, show hidden pressure points in the chart. The cosmobiology school, founded by Reinhold Eberton, reads the chart almost entirely through midpoints. The Sun-Moon midpoint is the core of the personality, the I, that emerges from the dialogue between will and feeling. When a transit crosses a sensitive midpoint, the whole system lights up. And harmonics, the mathematical subdivision of the zodiac, turn the chart into a symphony. The fifth harmonic for creativity, the seventh for inspiration, the ninth for vision, the 11th for community.
And the Arabic parts, the part of fortune, the part of spirit, are point formulas that turn the chart into a geometry of meaning. Ascendant plus moon minus sun. It sounds like arithmetic, but the parts are ancient, elegant, and often startlingly accurate. The part of fortune shows where your body and your worldly luck are anchored. The part of spirit shows where your purpose and your spiritual drive are anchored. There are hundreds of parts, the part of marriage, the part of death, the part of victory, each one a calculated point that acts like a sensitive planet. Let me show you how a part works in practice. The part of fortune is calculated as ascendant plus moon minus sun. You do the arithmetic in absolute degrees and the part of fortune lands somewhere in your chart, often in a house you would not expect. When that point is activated by transit or progression, the themes of fortune, health, prosperity, embodiment, get triggered. And here is the beautiful part. The part of fortune is always exactly as far from the ascendant as the moon is from the sun. It is a geometric echo. The chart is full of these elegant symmetries.
So the modern era gave astrology 1,000 new instruments, and 1,000 new questions. But the deepest questions were still unanswered. What is the chart, really? What is this connection between the sky and the self? And it was there, on that edge, that the strangest bridge of all began to form. A bridge between the oldest language of the sky and the newest physics of the very small. That is where we go now. Part 3. The Quantum Frontier. And now, the part that might change everything. We are going to take the language of quantum mechanics and ask a question that would have been unthinkable a generation ago. What if the birth chart is not a static snapshot, but a wave function? What if astrology has been describing quantum phenomena for 2,000 years, in symbols instead of equations?
Okay, physics hat on. In quantum mechanics, before you measure a particle, it exists in a superposition, a cloud of probabilities, all possible states at once, described by a mathematical object called the wave function. The moment you observe it, the wave function collapses, and one actual state snaps into being. Physicists still argue about what observation really means. Here is the astrological twist. What if the moment of birth is exactly that, a collapse event? What if the first breath is the first measurement?
Think about it. 9 months of superposition, a fetus developing in a haze of genetic and environmental probabilities. Every possibility, every potential trait, every latent gift exists in the cloud. Then, at the moment of birth, the first breath, the first observation, the wave function collapses into a unique, unrepeatable configuration. The birth chart is not the cause of your destiny. It is the record of a collapse. The signature of a moment when infinite possibilities became one particular life.
And this reframes the oldest objection to astrology. How could the planets possibly affect you? The quantum answer: they do not have to. In quantum mechanics, two particles can become entangled, linked across any distance, so that measuring one instantly determines the state of the other. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. We call it a synastry aspect. When your Saturn touches my Sun, something in me rearranges, not because Saturn sends a signal across the void, but because the pattern was always there, woven into the fabric of the chart itself.